The Second Punic War rages on, and Rome has come to Spain to conquer Carthago Nova and defeat Hasdrubal once and for all. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish, and welcome back to another Ancient Empires online battle. Today we are diving into this epic large-scale siege battle as the city of Carthago Nova fights its last stand this day. It should be very, very exciting to see how this one does pan out. Before we get started though, I just want to give a massive shout out to the guys who sent in this battle. I always love it when we get more and more Ancient Empires, so please keep them coming. You guys also sent me in a bunch of 12-12, so yeah, big shout out to you guys. Thank you for playing in this battle, and keep the replays coming because, yeah, this is awesome. I love Ancient Empires, and I love it when I get epic siege battles like this that, you know, go on for, for 40-50 minutes. You know you're going to be in for one hell of an engagement. So let's stick things on slow-mo for now so we can take a good look at the battle. So we have a Roman force that is attacking from land down the main wall of Carthago Nova, and then we have a Roman fleet that is entering the harbour as we speak, and they're obviously going to need to defeat the current ships that are, you know, kind of doing the old Ring of Rome Rosie. I think probably all you Americans have no idea what that saying is from, but yeah, they're kind of just moving around trying to avoid the Carthaginian ships and take them down, maybe try and crisscross and, you know, kind of get the bogey off of their tail as more of the larger scale marine ships move into the port right now. The Carthaginians have a fairly strong defense on the beaches when they do come down. Some of these late period, I think these are basically just sacred band, late period sacred band, so a pretty heavy infantry line. They're also supported by some Ligurian mercenaries, and these guys are very, very strong. They output a ton of damage, so that's going to be a pretty strong defense there. Then over on the wall itself, I think we do have some African veterans. They are amazing defensive units that will be able to hold streets, walls, and gates for a long time to come. And hopefully they'll be able to hold these walls as well. Then for the Roman army, we do have some Principes. They're going to be pushing up the main siege tower attack. And again, Alex, oh man, I love the siege escalation in Attila. It is so goddamn cool, and it's such a shame that they didn't do more of this siege escalation, because they could have just done, you know, so much more in it. Oh my man, it would have been epic if they did. So they're pushing up these ladders with them. We also have a unit of Triarii pushing up a battering ram. So the elite men are going to be the first through the gate itself. I think that's basically going to be it. Just Principes, Hastati, and Triarii are going to keep this on board for the Second Punic War. No pre-Marian units or anything along them lines. We also have some cavalry inside the city, but I think we just go ahead and get this bad boy started now, as the Carthaginians form up a pretty sturdy defense. Actually looking to basically give up the walls on this left-hand side and just kind of keep one unit here, which is kind of surprising. We are going to be seeing the Triarii as well, moving through this gatehouse as the African veterans get ready to hold their own against them. No burning oil, unfortunately, on this city, which is a real shame, because the burning oil is just murderous. It can do so much. And these Triarii will be looking to hold up a large portion of the African veterans, so they can't support any of the men on the wall. You can see the Principes right now as another volley does go in against the Triarii, actually taking down a number of them. You can see the Principes now getting onto them walls, making their way through the defensive position. And now the African veterans are actually falling back a little bit. I wonder if the Triarii will be looking to catch them. We do have some archer support coming in as well, so some missiles are going to be volleying over the houses and looking to put some pressure down on these Triarii, who are going to be forming up a defensive position here at the gate, basically just acting as a bridgehead here, defending this position. The boats are still faffing around over here, kind of just moving around, looking to get the ram off. But as the bigger ones do enter the port now, we can only assume that the naval warfare is going to be over. However, the Carthaginian ships have done an amazing job. They've managed to take out a decent amount, like basically all the smaller ships from Rome. So very, very impressive indeed. Oh, they also have like an artillery piece here as well. That's kind of cool. It's like a naval battery that they have set up on the riverbed. That's really cool, actually, adding some extra support. So as we go back to the main push right now, we can see the heavy fighting on the walls itself, as the Principes, just sheer weight of numbers, break their way forward. However, obviously they are going to be pretty vulnerable right now. There's going to be a lot of missile fire coming in from the archers, who are changing their focus from the Triarii at the gate itself, and are basically just trying to get as many shots off into these Principes as possible. Now, do keep in mind, obviously, we are playing Ancient Empires. In this mod, fatigue makes so much of a difference. I say this every single time, but I want to reiterate it. A unit that is exhausted fights at 0.1 of its capability. So that's huge. It basically means that a Principe unit can get outclassed by a slave unit if the Principes are exhausted and the slave unit is completely fresh. Now, obviously, the slave unit will get tired itself very, very quickly, and that will kind of level itself out. But the initial engagement, the slaves will take the advantage until they get tired, which will, happen pretty quickly. So just keep that in mind. The fatigue is extremely important when it comes to units fighting, and when units get exhausted, they're more prone to routing, as well as just losing combat in general. So it's a great idea to keep reserve lines. It's a great idea to rest your infantry when they can. We are seeing a little cavalry push here by the Romans, throwing in some of their horses, but again, getting driven back pretty heavily by the Iberians and the support of the African veterans. Obviously, the Roman cavalry don't want to get stuck in here. It was a pretty, catastrophic charge there by the Romans. I mean, they did only lose, I guess they did lose a decent amount. 36 horses, 34 horses there, and the Iberians only really threw a handful of javelins from the African veterans, and the cavalry was basically unscathed. So, not a bad one whatsoever. The cavalry has followed through now as well onto the Principes, but this looks really cool. I love the dust effect as well, as it's all getting kicked up as the Principes come flying forward. But yeah, as it seems, the cavalry is going to get drawn back once again, and the Principes are going to continue just to flood into the city, and it seems like the cavalry is in a full-on retreat now. The African veterans looking to fall back and, find a more fortified position. Basically just trying to delay the Romans and, again, keep them on the move, keep them tired, don't give them a moment to rest. So you want to always be aggressive in these engagements as best as you can. I'm just going to turn the music up a little bit. The music does seem quite quiet for me, so let me just stick that up a little bit, as I'm sure you guys don't want to just listen to my voice in the background. The music would also be very, very good to have on. So as you can see, the Roman fleet, I mean, I'm so surprised how well the Carthaginian fleet has done considering the strength of the Roman navy. They even have some artillery ships as well they're now starting to bring up, and obviously these can help to bombard these shores and just make the actual naval invasion, that little bit more effective. Because the Carthaginians don't actually have that many men. Taking a look at their army, they've only got 2,800. They haven't lost many, but neither have the Romans at this stage. But still, only having 2,800 men when you're fighting a pretty large-scale siege battle is always going to be a difficult choice. It seems like the African veterans, though, have now been pinned in by the Principes. And even though the African veterans are extremely skilled warriors, they have super high melee defense, the Principes should slowly just grind away at them here and definitely come out on top. They are tired. I mean, again, as well, like, these guys are winded. So, for the most part, the African veterans are doing their job on the battlefield, and that's exhausting the shock infantry of Rome. This is exactly kind of what they should be set up to be doing. And it's one of the reasons I love Ancient Empires so much. It's just because of engagements like this where you have, units designed to just tire out your enemy so your other infantry can perform a lot more effectively. But I imagine they will be breaking at some point, probably when they get exhausted. Generally, units which are surrounded or fighting heavily tend to get beaten back as soon as they kind of hit that threshold of just not being able to fight, like swing a sword anymore, and they're just like, yeah, screw this, I'm going to TGI Fridays and getting a margarita. The Roman cavalry has thrown itself into this battle. The African veterans are supporting, but coming over the hill, we do have the Romans moving in. The Triarii looking to reinforce this position. Oh man, I love this mod so much. Just for the units of battle style. And it just like siege battles like this are just so goddamn cool. They really, really are. It's such an awesome map. To have, and it's such a cool story with the Punic War. Carthage versus Rome, Triarii versus African veterans, the cavalry moving in. And a really interesting thing as well is probably what happened over here, the initial cavalry engagement, which is something you guys might not know, is when the cavalry pushed through this position right here, they probably didn't have line of sight on anything here, so they didn't know that there was other cavalry moving in. They didn't know that there was Triarii ready to move in as well. And the thing is, units move quite slowly in this mod, so once you get yourself into a position, it's very hard to then move out. Obviously, cavalry doesn't suffer from this as much because, you know, they're on horseback. But generally, you know, committing your units to a position is pretty difficult because you don't really ever want to run your units due to the fatigue issue unless you really have to. So because of that, you know, unit placement is very important, and you can quite easily find yourself out of position, and your opponent can quite easily capitalize on that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some infantry moving around the streets and actually enveloping this unit of African veterans. It is quite segregated right now, and the Principes can quite easily move up. It seems like the African veterans have fallen back once again, and this is probably a great position for the African veterans. They have 3 units of these Belarius Slingers up on this hill, and they can basically completely cover the city street. Oh my god, that looks scary as well. Yeah, they can completely cover the city street very, very effectively, and basically just hammer anything that comes down them. So this is probably the main kind of defensive position. We're also getting a street bombardment as well. I think that's actually driven back the defenders. Yeah, it's actually driven back the defenders a little bit further, which is a very smart decision, because that does obviously mean that the infantry can land on the beaches basically uncontested. The Carthaginian ramming ships have now started to get sink. Although they haven't even got sunk yet. Wow. No, they're still coming up, and they're actually doing a very good job. Another ram coming in right here. Actually driving the ship back. Oh my god, naval combat, man. Naval combat is as broken as ever, even in Attila. Man, I really wish they would actually just, you know, commit time to fixing. I mean, obviously we're no longer getting naval combat in games anymore, but not even in Troy, which is, you know, a big old sea in the center. The Carthaginian is actually burning this. Yeah, they actually burnt another Royal Marine. Oh my god, this naval defense has come up so big. And I think at this point, the Romans just want to try and get their ships onto the beach before they lose any more. It's absolutely insane how well the naval combat has been going for the Carthaginians. Definitely showing their prowess on the boats. And there we go, the Romans are now moving around this cavalry engagement. Probably going to get some Pila into the back of this infantry. Definitely would not be surprised. The thing is, though, the player playing as the Romans, he's running a lot of this infantry, and these guys are getting pretty tired already, so be very careful. It does seem like there's a bit of impassable terrain here as well, so the Romans are having to go all the way around to get around, but that should be like a brutal Pila throw and then a charge, and that should probably finish up these African veterans, even though they are looking pretty healthy and stuff, only losing around about 23 men. I think a Pila throw and a really aggressive charge in the back will be very, very effective indeed. And this is why you just want to be marching your units, because right now, these guys who haven't been in combat are going to be fighting as poorly as the African veterans who have been fighting constantly. So you can kind of see my point, right? You know, if they're fighting at let's just say 0.4 of their capabilities, and these guys are fighting at 0.4 of your capabilities. Well, the thing is, these guys haven't been fighting, so you want these guys to come in fresh as a shock unit, and that's why you want to kind of go around and march your units. It does seem like the African veterans are going to pull back, but there is no real way they can escape. And here we go. Yeah, they're going to be completely surrounded. No Pila throw coming in, though, which is surprising on the charge. And now they're going to be, yeah, surrounded, taking on the Principes from the front. Actually, a pretty nice charge by them. And now the African veterans can follow up. I mean, realistically, it would be a pretty good idea to throw in some cavalry, just, you know, try and break these guys morale-wise. And you can see what is happening on here. The African veterans, man, this is what they are good at. They are heavy men. They're driven against the edge of the wall and just holding that line, exhausting this Roman infantry and keeping them, you know, on this position so that the other movements can't go off whatsoever. Again, I can't wait to see these units come into the slinger range. It's going to be absolutely brutal. The Carthaginian Navy is still causing a mayhem, but finally we're going to get a small naval landing. I mean, you guys saw how big the Roman Navy was. at the beginning of the battle, you know, it was like at least like 10, 15 ships. And now look at it. It is like, you know, just coming up to 3 infantry landing. That's really, really bad. We're about to get another charge here as well, or a ram. They get one last shot off, but the ship gets absolutely rocked. That shot goes flying. The ship is still alive. It's, you know, down to a damage modifier of 23%. But, I mean, realistically, if I was them, I'd just get everything off of these boats ASAP. As we do have the Carthaginians moving back to kind of contest this beach landing. You know, getting on here is going to be pretty effective because you want to try and stop the Pila coming in as quickly as possible. But the Romans are going to be able to form up, I think, a decent shield line before these guys come in. But they're fighting Sacred Band, so it's not going to be an easy fight whatsoever, you know. I think these Marines are going to get outclassed pretty easily, if I'm honest, especially as you're getting multiple men coming in. And the Carthaginian ships are just, yeah, running amok now. They completely dominated this naval engagement. It wasn't even close. And the Marines of the Romans, they're very few in number. They're high quality, but yeah, they're not going to stand up against the Ligurian mercenaries from Spain or from the Sacred Band as well. The Sacred Band will rip them apart, I think, no matter what happens. And the thing is as well is that they can land their men. Also, we've also got some Carthaginian cavalry moving around and flanking. Let me look at that as well. The Romans are just got absolutely smashed. The unit on the left flank just being completely outclassed and breaking. Does seem like this unit is still not going down though, as the Principes pull back. I mean, this is exactly what they want to have. They want to pull back the Principes so they can just, you know, kind of envelop it, get that Pila throw in, and obviously bring up more men as well. Because I think this is impassable terrain all along this line here, meaning they can't really outflank. So drawing these guys forward is a very, very effective thing. And yeah, they pull back to get that Pila throw off, which really should have come in the first place. That's going to, again, really soften these guys up. And now the African veterans are very tired as well. That's going to be affecting them pretty heavily. Once again, these African veterans holding firm. Yeah, look at this. The Roman infantry is exhausted. These guys are very close to breaking. But it's impossible to envelop them on the wall because they have the wall to their back. So even though there's only a handful of them left, it's hard to kind of get that killing blow. You know, there's a segregated group of like 4 African veterans here. But they are keeping strong, and yeah, these small pockets of resistance are just holding up. 4 units of the Roman army. That's a lot. That is a lot indeed. And the Romans are pulling back once again, just trying to drag more of these African veterans forward. And here we go. This is what we wanted to see. Now they've lost that kind of defensive position right there. We're seeing the cavalry come into their back. And I imagine we're going to be seeing a charge from every single side moving in to fight these African veterans. Indeed, as the rest of the Roman army is just moving in. Actually, the cavalry, they're just going to bypass them. That's kind of hilarious. They're going to say, screw this, and just keep on going. It does seem like the Roman army on the beach has seemingly been yeah, held in place right now. These huge shields from the boatmen. Yeah, so these are the Marines for Carthage here, fighting against the Romans. They've got huge hoplite shields. Very funny indeed, though, as more of the infantry pushes in through the streets looking to reform up there. And there you go, you're going to get units just coming in from every side, breaking in against this unit of African veterans. Unfortunately, I don't think the African veterans can form a square, which they desperately do need to. And man, look at that. This one unit of African veterans has done just amazing work. Exhausting 4 units of Principes is huge when it comes to 12-12. But yeah, for the most part, the Roman army is pushing down this flank, but they're going to be severely held in place, and until more of these African veterans can be broken, it's going to be a little while, and maybe their morale is perfectly fine. If anything, it would be a good idea to maybe bring up the Velites at this point and just let the Velites take them out, because the African veterans beside the Sacred Band are going to be the main unit they're going to have to worry about in this engagement. You know, they're not really going to have to worry about... I mean, Ligurians are deadly, don't get me wrong, but they kind of, you know, play into the Principes. It's good sword infantry versus good sword infantry. Whereas the African veterans are just a pain in the arse more than anything else. Because they have high morale because, you know, they're Hannibal's veterans. They fought several battles, so they're just a very effective unit. You know, they're a better Triarii unit, basically. the staple of the Carthaginian army. And right now it is, yeah, definitely proving to be the case. Taking a look, though, at the overall battlefield, you can see the Romans have made progress actually breaking away. So it seems like the Carthaginians left their marines to deal with the Roman marines. However, that wasn't as successful as the Romans have managed to win that small engagement. But that shouldn't really come to much avail. The Romans are continuing to push down the street, and then we'll obviously, you know, see a big engagement in the center part of the city very, very soon. As they, again, still just try to break up these African veterans, but just failing so miserably. They really are. The Romans are now pushing down the street, though. It does seem like this unit of cavalry has tried to hide behind the houses, but it's taking a little bit of missile fire from the archers, so we need to be very careful there. And we obviously have another unit of African veterans who can set up at the edge of this street, supported by the Ligurian mercenaries as well. Such a deadly unit we get to really see get stuck in. More of the Punic marines are moving in here. I guess just going to you know, kind of leave this engagement if they can. And the city burns back there. We also have a unit of African elephants as well, so this is going to be deadly. There's a lot of them in this unit. There's a handful of elephants, so they can definitely do some good damage. Oh, and we're finally getting the Slingers coming into play, and this is just going to go directly into the Carthaginians' favor right now, because, I mean, look at that. They can just slowly stutter step back, and this unit of Principes, who are actually in, oh, this is Principes? They're in Testudo. No, this is Triarii, sorry. They are in a Testudo formation, so they basically have a very, very good missile block chance. I think it's almost 100%. Yeah, 90. So only a handful of these slings are going to be finding their mark onto these Triarii. So yeah, it's kind of a good thing to have them here because they're absorbing the shots. But the African veterans have also formed up an awesome formation. I mean, just look at that. That's such a cool formation, man. That really is. And they're just, you know, preparing themselves for the oncoming charge that is, I'm sure, soon to follow at any second now. Yeah, the Triarii are coming in. They're under heavy fire, and missile fire in this game does slow up units, and it also reduces their morale. So now the engagement has happened. I imagine the slings will still be coming in, though, regardless of if there's a friendly unit here. I think just pouring in rocks onto this Triarii unit is going to be really effective. I mean, they've already lost a handful of soldiers. 32 men from that unit already is pretty huge. And you can get even some archers moving around the flank here as well. I'd be surprised if we don't see the rest of the army moving in very, very soon. The Principes are moving up. I think these guys are getting into Pila range onto the African veterans. But again, they need to be pretty careful. They're advancing in Testudo, but they don't want to find themselves in a position where they can get outflanked. So the javelins coming in here. Absorbing these javelins is pretty useful, being in Testudo. You'll see a handful of men go down, but they'll be really minimal compared to what would happen if they weren't in Testudo. Obviously, having that 90 block number is just huge. It's a really effective way to kind of absorb ammunition. That's just kind of the strength of Rome. And now they can break their Testudo and throw their javelins back at this point. Even though we do have the African veterans forming a shield wall of their own, or a Testudo of their own. And as I said, the Romans need to be very careful because they can get completely enveloped here. I imagine that's why we're seeing more men brought around. And again, you can see the men are walking now, so that's kind of the better thing. And I mean, honestly, at this point, I would just waste my velites killing this African veteran unit. It's such a pain in the ass. The Romans have finally won on this, and you can hear they're cheering. Look how happy they are. They're like, God damn, finally, we've done it. Huzzah! Winning this position is huge for them for sure. So they're going to be able to now maneuver their way down onto the ground. Obviously, getting their fatigue back is going to be huge. They are only very tired now, but still, they're going to need a rest for about 5 minutes, and then they can be brought up. Oh, and we're getting some big engagements right here. The Roman cavalry has been brought down I assume looking to try and get around this, but because we're in such a sporadic movement, they can't really form up to get through this gap, as they have Sacred Band closing down, and oh no, the elephants are on their way, and there's nothing to kill the elephants. The Velites are so far back. The Slings immediately chain their focus over to the cavalry. Once again, this is a siege battle. This is brutal, and now the elephants are moving in. What would be really, really smart here by the Carthaginian player is to commit the elephants to smash into the side of these Triarii and then bring up these sacred... Oh, it's a brutal volley right there with the javelins. But to move the Sacred Band up on this street so the cavalry can't do what they're about to do, and so that the Velites can't be brought up to kill the elephants. The elephants would have been able to eat this unit alive. But yeah, the cavalry going to seize this opportunity, going in a really nice charge into the Sacred Band, taking a handful of casualties here, but outputting a bunch of casualties as well. The Romans, though, are using their numbers to their advantage, enveloping this unit of African veterans. But we've seen this before, and yeah, it takes so long. Even being surrounded by sword infantry, it takes a while. And with having the slingers up on this hill as well, it's just so goddamn effective. It really is. No, the African veterans, hell, but it's just disgusting. Kill them with Velites, man. The elephants, though, are going to be coming in, and these poor Romans are going to have to try their best without any Velite support for some time. Yeah, the elephants coming in, they're going to just demolish this unit. I mean, that was not a very good charge, though. And I guess the Principes themselves are turning around and throwing javelins. Here you can see a handful of Pila actually in these elephants. But I mean, just look at that. The elephants just run amok. And the javelins, where are they? They're all the way around here, so can't even deal with these elephants. And yeah, you like that, Romans are just going to straight up break, seeing the elephants charge in, doing some crazy damage. Over 40 kills already on them. But it's more of a morale factor than anything else. Oh, and we have Hasdrubal as well, moving up. I don't think this is Hasdrubal, but it could be. A nice move here by the Romans, though, bringing their javelins up. They're going to be able to bring down this unit of Sacred Band. And if you can't shoot the elephants, killing the Sacred Band is obviously going to be just as good as killing the elephants, honestly. So unleashing these volleys is going to be very, very effective. Bringing down the Sacred Band, very effective. And how did the Carthaginians, they must have fallen back, right? How the hell did the Romans break through here? I know they had a force like moving around this side, but I'm confused how they managed to achieve that. Oh, they must have been engaged because there was a small skirmish here, yeah. So it's something we must have just missed, unfortunately. The javelins are coming up to running out of ammunition, but they've definitely done a lot of damage to these guys. The slingers have been brought down off of the mountainside now to help out. And they do actually need to be kind of careful here with their slings, because friendly fire will rack up damage on the elephants, and you want to try and keep these elephants as fresh as possible, because I imagine if any Triarii make their way, any Velites make their way, one or two volleys will kill these elephants. As the elephants continue to use their strength. Have they lost anything yet, the elephants? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, there you go. You're going to see these elephants dropping very quickly. As these, I mean, actually, maybe not. The Velites are fleeing for their lives. They've lost a handful of elephants, but not that many. And it does seem like the Triarii are going to be trying their best to hold them in place as well. Yeah, I mean, if the Velites can just keep... If the Velites don't mess up pathfinding, they should be able to slaughter these elephants. It seems like the pathfinding, though, is messing up severely for the Romans, and this is unfortunate. I think they're just trying to form up, but big unit numbers in the small streets isn't that great. But yeah, I mean, look at that. The elephants are now in retreat. They're losing handfuls of them already, and they've already lost half of the unit. It's brutal. We're getting a small little charge out here by the African veterans, going to be meeting the Principes in combat. And unfortunately, these Principes are very tired. These are the ones coming off of the wall. We have got a envelopment still going on there as the Triarii fight off the Sacred Band and the African veterans. Again, this fight is going to probably never end. And then we've also got this unit. I don't know how this unit of Ligurian mercenaries managed to get hit from the back. I guess the Romans just went all the way around, and this Ligurian mercenary unit just stayed here. But this is what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter. The Ligurian mercenary unit is a very strong unit. But it's going to be fighting Principes, and Principes kind of do what the Ligurians do, but just as well, you know, and probably have a lot higher morale. The only thing that the Ligurians probably have at this point is the fatigue on their side. You know, they're a lot fresher than, say, the Roman line. So they can obviously use that to their advantage. And I mean, I'm surprised we also didn't see any envelopment coming in. Yeah, these guys are active. I mean, to be fair though, the Romans are just winded, so nothing too crazy whatsoever. And obviously more men could get deployed here fairly easily to help this out if they wanted to. It does seem like the Romans though have managed to break away the Carthaginians on this side of the battlefield. They must have broken the unit and seen the African veterans off. But need to be careful though, because as we have some more Spanish mercenary cavalry moving around. If they can find a gap, I mean, there's not really anywhere through them. These Chiarii are formed up. I think they're trying to find their way through the gap, but I don't know how effective that's going to be. Yeah, no, this street is blocked off. It was worth a try, but the you know, kind of disorganization of the cavalry is going to find it very hard to make its way down this street. Really, really hard, and that's going to obviously safeguard a large portion of the javelins. Well, the javelins are wasting shots on these routing African veterans, though. They need to be very careful. Oh, we got Scipio Africanus, though, moving into the battle. We can see him as well. Is that him? Is that Africanus? I think it is, right? Or maybe not. That should be him. He's like in the center. Yeah, I think that is Africanus himself. Maybe not, though. I don't know. There are custom models for all these. Oh, no, there he is. No? There's custom models for all heroes in this mod, so... Or, I guess, generals. I should say. And there you go. The African veterans are broken, being pushed back, and now the Sacred Band are having to reinforce this position against the Principes. Looking to engage them. But I imagine the Sacred Band at this point are very tired. As they have been fighting, they've been under heavy missile fire from the Velites. I can't imagine they have a ton left in the tank. Only very tired. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, they are, you know, losing fatigue war to the Principes. But considering how long these guys have been fighting, that's not bad whatsoever. And if we take a look at the overall battlefield, we can see a big push here by the Romans. They still have some Marines on the boat. Hopefully we haven't desynced. I don't think we have desynced, but these Romans are obviously just waiting for the main army to be pushed up, and the Carthaginians don't really have anything else they can send to support that. Yeah, whatsoever. The Romans are making swift progress. Obviously, their numbers coming in pretty heavily. I kind of am fearing that we have desynced though due to this unit right here. But hopefully not. Hopefully everything is playing out as seen. Sometimes desyncs can just come in and there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, there's just a few units standing around, but hopefully we're all good. I mean, the battle is still, you know, playing out pretty awesome, so no need to worry about that time. Sometimes a desync can just absolutely ruin the battle, but what tends to happen is a desync comes into play when a unit is supposed to have routed but doesn't in the replay. It's a real shame when stuff like that does happen. It has given another, you know, lick of life to this unit of Chiarii though. As you can see, there's just two heavy spear units fighting each other as they get tired, just do no damage. Even though the African veterans are fresh in this battle. They're struggling to kill that. Another cavalry push here as well by the Carthaginians. They really want to try and get through here, but I think they're just going to get punished by the Romans. Or maybe what they're doing, I think actually what they're doing is they're breaking these guys out of a shield wall. Because obviously when you charge cavalry into the Chiarii, they're going to want to attack back, so they're going to right click, and that's going to break their stationary testudo away, which then allows the javelins and the slingers up on the hill to shoot. I think that's what's happening in this this deployment. So really smart, like 200 IQ move right there. Throwing the cavalry in to break their formation and then having the slingers shooting is going to be really effective actually. Really effective. More of these javelins moving in. What the hell are these javelins up to though? I know pathfinding can probably be pretty hard, but the Ligurians are going to cut them to shreds right now. Oh no. These Ligurians are, yeah, going to have a field day fighting these Velites. Don't really know. I mean, they are still getting a lot of their javelins off, but probably not the targets they would like to. I imagine they were planning on shooting this unit right here, but struggling So as I said, the streets are pretty thin in this map, but, you know, it's a city siege after all. It's to kind of be expected. And you've even got archer fire coming in as well, focusing these guys down. So this is a really, really unfortunate move there for the Romans. It really is. But they have got obviously a lot of success over on this side. The Slingers are going to cut this position down, but more and more men can be brought into the city itself. They can kind of make their final push once and for all now. It does seem like the Sacred Band are losing numbers pretty quickly, down to 92, getting very, very tired as well, as more reinforcements do get brought up to be pushed into the city itself. I mean, a large amount of this Roman army is extremely tired though, but I'm sure the same can be said for the Carthaginians. They don't really have much left, you know. They're obviously going to be losing this fight here with the Triarii and Principes. You know, losing men fairly quickly there. So once that's broken, you know, the Carthaginians don't really have anything left at this point, you know. Besides their missile units and this kind of bulk of infantry right here, that's literally all they're kind of holding with now. And as the Romans push down, you know, they've got 3 units of infantry here they can bring down. And there's not really anything the Carthaginians can send to stop this outflank from happening and, you know, going to put pressure on to the archers. I mean, it would be a good idea to maybe commit Scipio through this position now as well. Obviously, the elephants are very scary, but you could send Scipio on a mission to try and kill all of these missiles, which would be, you know, I think a daring but a smart move, a move that could win the battle. The Romans have now lost this position. Unfortunately, their Triarii are actually breaking away the kind of just sheer weight of numbers, and I think the Ligurians, after killing these skirmishers here, committed over and did the killing blow. However, somehow these Velites have managed to be brought up into the flank of the African veterans, and there's nothing being done about them. I don't think the elephants want to commit here. They want to just basically let the Velites run out of ammunition, which now they have done, and I imagine now we're going to be seeing the elephants moving in, or even the Slingers taking them down. I mean, I'm surprised the African veterans didn't just turn around to face these guys, but it kind of worked out for the Carthaginian player because, you know, these guys used up a large portion of their ammunition, and now they don't really have much left in the way of Velites at all. And the rest of the battle, you know, is just being committed to these breach points. We're going to be having heavy fighting with the Sacred Band and the Principes in the streets. As you can see, more men being committed, some men in reserve just being fresh. But now the Carthaginians can commit the rest of their army to these positions. Obviously the Slingers, I'm so surprised we're not seeing air push here, because right now they're just taking shots for no real apparent reason. I mean, I guess they're resting, but being shot, obviously, I think it's better to have tired men than to lose them to being shot. And now the elephants can move in and clear out what remains of these Velites. Also, the elephants are pretty fast, so it could be a good idea, you know. This time at which the Velites can then make their way around to over here, it wouldn't be a bad idea to commit the elephants back around and then just come into the back of these men over on this side, honestly. The elephants are moving in. No, they're not. Are they going to come charging in here? I guess we can just hopefully keep an eye out. Are they going to move in? Yeah, they are. It's exactly what we want to see. The elephants charging through these Velites. However, they're now in perfect range of the other Velite unit, kind of acting in reserve. And that's going to take down another handful of elephants, I would imagine. I mean, they obviously broke the Velites. But, you know, now they've lost a couple of men. I think it would have been a better idea to send them back and around and then brought up this street. Because as you can see, the elephants can, yeah, they're going over here. So they're basically doing what I said they should do. It's just they kind of went the wrong way about it. And again, I'm just so surprised the Romans aren't pushing further down here, down the street. I guess they don't want to overcommit, but I don't see why they're just not doing it. The elephants can now move in, and that's going to be a big blow to these Roman infantry. I don't think they have any, they literally have nothing to kill them besides, obviously, infantry. I imagine even the Principes have used up both of their weapons. Man, the cool thing now, honestly, if they ever did make a Rome Total War 3, now in like 3 kingdoms, you can obviously, and in Troy, they've said in Troy as well, there's going to be multiple weapon profiles for an individual unit. So you could actually have the Romans fighting with a pila as well as a sword and shield. So they could effectively, you know, or more effectively try and fight off an elephant with the pila. because obviously in Troy you're going to be able to fight with like sword and shield and spear and shield, or bow and like just a bow and then change to a spear and shield with one unit. So that could be so effective on like a Roman unit, for example. The elephants are falling back and going to go and help out on this position now as well. Yeah, I'm really, really baffled about this left-hand side street. I don't really know what's going on. Maybe they're scared of the cavalry coming in. Yeah, I guess that's that, but then why not just pull back and then move in on these positions? Because the Romans really don't have many men left whatsoever. And, you know, the elephants are going to be coming in, throwing off a few javelins, and I assume immediately going to be going into these triarii and just trying to pull through. The triarii going over onto them, though, fairly quickly. And again, like, you think how much more effective it would have been if they would have just come around this back passage and then charged into them and tried to bring them down. The Ligurians, though, holding pretty nicely, honestly, on that side. I wonder on this engagement, I mean, I guess the Carthaginians are coming out on top, and finally, we're seeing infantry moving down this street. Unfortunately, the Romans don't get their peeler off, but now they are going in, again, fighting against the African veterans. I mean, maybe they were just resting, but they didn't do a very good job of resting. Yeah, I'm just surprised, honestly. I thought, yeah, this street would have been a bit more active. But obviously, the players had their reasons. It's very hard for me to, you know, tell what they were thinking. It's just kind of, I look at it and be like, oh, that's what I would have done. But maybe they just didn't want to get kind of, like, you know, they move around this corner, they then get shot in the back by slingers, and then get charged by cavalry, and so on and so on. Hashtable moving up further in. We are seeing the Roman army now starting to break. I think we are going to see a Carthaginian victory here. I think they just have the missile superiority. They have the cavalry and the elephants still just doing crazy damage. And, you know, because the Roman army has been thinned out, they can't really attack from multiple ways. Again, I'm so surprised we're not... I think this unit's desynced here, so ignore that this cavalry unit. But again, I'm so surprised we're not seeing even just like a Velite unit out of ammunition rear charging some of these Ligurian swords, you know? It seems like the Roman players have just been beaten this day. And Scipio is on the move, but I don't know how effective he's going to be. Again, like, I feel like Scipio should have been moved into this battle a long, long time ago. Probably just moving up to, like, rally some soldiers. And with the constant archer fire coming in as well on this side. And I mean, it looks like for the most part, this Roman unit has been backed into a corner. It seems also that the archer fire is doing a lot more damage to friendly units right here. Good old going all Ramsey at Bolton on this unit with the Sardinian bowmen than anything else. Yeah, it seems like the archers are just trying to kill as many Romans as possible. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Roman army is just going to end up breaking, if I'm honest. As more and more of the units get committed. We're finally now seeing a Roman Principe unit being brought into the fight. But I don't think it's going to be that effective. The Ligurians are going to be falling back. The elephants are just going to be going... Wait, is this... I wonder if this cavalry did break then, or if it was just forgotten about. I honestly don't know if that army was just forgotten about, or what. I can't imagine it was. The Romans are moving in though, so maybe the Romans will be able to go for one final big push. I think this is it. This is an all or nothing move right now. As there's not a ton left here for the Carthaginians on this side. And the Romans are just going to commit everything they have. We're going to get some javelin tosses in as well from the cavalry. That's obviously one of the reasons to bring them in. There we go. Scipio has been destroyed now. That's going to just send shockwaves down the Roman army. And I think the news of Scipio being slain is going to be it for the battle itself. Especially now that the elephants can break their way through. Again, some weird stuff is happening in this battle, so I think there has been a bit of a desync. So maybe there was a bit more strategy, like, you know, maybe these units did push a lot earlier on and stuff. It's a real shame that, you know, battles like this do end up desyncing. But I think for the most part, we can confirm that this is going to be a Roman victory. I mean, sorry, a Carthaginian victory, I would say. They still have a lot of missiles left. They still, obviously, have these elephants left as well, which can do just insane. I mean, I don't know, actually. I honestly don't know. Actually, no, I think this is probably a Roman victory. Yeah, 100%. Romans just obviously need to push down on these slingers and stuff and bring them down. The elephants are obviously still a nuisance, but they still have some velites left that would have been able to kill these guys and bring down the elephants. And then the Romans, obviously, you know, with their infantry, yeah, they still have like 5 or 6 Roman infantrymen left. So I'm going to give this one to the Romans. Again, we desynced, which is really frustrating because, you know, I don't get too many of these Ancient Empire battles too often, and I love it when I do because Ancient Empires is so awesome. But yeah, it does seem like there was a desync, unfortunately. I even loaded it through the custom battles, which normally prevents desyncs, but unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna get one this day, which sucks so much. But yeah, well, hopefully we'll get another Ancient Empire battle soon. More siege battles would be awesome. So yeah, please keep them coming, guys, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.